What I've done now is take my shirt off because I'm in nature so I can get some natural sunlight on my body and my chest and my back. And I think about Portland and other cities being vampire magnets. And there's something really profoundly wrong with geoengineering in general and a lot of other things taking place. Which is why I give focus in my videos to topics like electromagnetic pollution, because it takes us away from a natural, empathetic, loving, sensitive, intuitive state of being, which I believe is our natural state. So when a lot of people take off for spring break, what they're really doing is being in line with nature. They're springing forward and they're springing outward. And they should remember that. It's not about, having all the amenities at your campsite and having to plug in. And, those things can help you get by for a few days, but that's not really what it's about. It's about getting away from the signals. It's about getting away from other people, because they're signals too. What people are emanating, their thoughts, what they're focusing on. So getting out in nature is about getting into a more natural state. There's different versions of nature, and there's nothing to feel guilty about it. And I don't always speak in anger when I speak of it, but some of us have certain genetic dispositions to be in certain parts of the globe. Maybe not our whole lives, but at least to check it out, myself included, which is why I think I was drawn to that part of Colorado, the high desert. And so we should have sun on our bodies. In fact, the water that we drink should be charged, and I would say restructured by the power of the sun. And it helps to get away from the signals, cell phones, internet for a little bit, and be in the silence. That's one thing I'm not always comfortable doing, is being silent. Sometimes I'll just make up random chit-chat with some people just to keep things moving, and sometimes the random chit-chat, sometimes it would be better just to be silent. And that's probably one of the reasons why when I've gone into nature in the past, I've been a little less productive and active on YouTube, is because I'm living more in my inner space. And there's plenty of thoughts that I've gone through and went through in Colorado, but they weren't all documented. Some of them were, but a lot of things were just meant for me to think about. So getting out in nature is a part of life, and there's a reason why people are drawn to the Portland area, because there are natural backdrops for people to experience. For people that enjoy some of the things that Portland has to offer, it's far more enjoyable when you're away from it for a little bit, so you can come back and kind of, jump back in the swing of things, whether it be your work, your relationships, the places you like to go out and party, drink, things of that nature. They're more enjoyable, whereas staying in the city has a certain effect, and it's overstimulation, it's oblivion, and it's disorienting. Whereas nature is balancing, centering, and can be a place to relieve stress. Now, one thing that does happen to the best of us is that sense of loneliness and longing when we come into nature, as we process our lives in the urban environments. And that's a part of the process. I don't think it's good to be stuck in that space, though, but it's a part of the process to be contemplating our whole lives and where we're going. And there are deer I've never been in a spot where I've seen deer over here, here. I've seen about 15 deer, and they're taking off because they can hear the sound of my voice, and I just refer to them. Like, oh man, he's telling people about us. But this is private land. And there probably is not an overabundance of hunters in this specific area, so there's that sense of safety. Natural weather climates, natural clouds, natural colors, natural energies, natural roads. Even if man at one point put stones here, or rather created the path, It has a very quiet feel to it. And the thing is that for some people, going out in nature is about being a sportsman. It's about hiking so many miles. You know, honestly, I don't like to get my ass kicked in that regard. I like to get exercise, but I'm not in this for who can be, the super survivalist, you know, blah, blah, blah. There's certain places where you can get to within a few hours. Parking's an issue. Private property's an issue, especially if you don't have permission. I have permission in this case, but I really don't know that many people in the general area. A lot of people moving to Portland, though, they're trying to get away from things, and I definitely don't want to be telling people, oh, go to this town or go to that town. We don't want the wrong people migrating to certain areas where it's still somewhat pristine. But a lot of people did move to the Pacific Northwest recently to get away from certain social, urban issues. And just going from one dense population center to another doesn't really get away from that issue or those energies. The issue people struggle with is there's not enough stimulation for them in nature or people. And a lot of people are driven. A lot of people want their cake and they want to eat it too. And so they want a little bit of everything, which is fine. But the going out in nature experience is about finding a sense of peace without all those things. Without people chasing you or without people to chase. I would say to go above your animal instincts, even though we get in touch with some of our animal instincts out in the wild. But our higher self and those other aspects of us beyond instinct are also aspects of ourselves that we can tap into fairly easily. So there's far more to the human experience of being out in nature than just tapping into your animal self. Not all aspects of your animal self are all that loving. Not all aspects of nature are all that loving, if you really look closely. But going out in nature retreats, even if you go back to the city, they can provide a break from the various forms of noise that plague us. Nature is beautiful. And so many things that are beautiful can be found in nature.